All right, so what else is going on?
Johnny, this is David. I can go next.
Sure.
Hey, I'm like Christine. I'm very new to business brokering. I've been doing commercial brokering. I got my license to join EXP in September. So brand new.
Hey, welcome.
Oh, thanks. And I got invited to this by Alan. He's my sponsor or mentor, Alan Stockbridge.
Alan Stockbridge, yeah.
Oh, yeah, attorney. He just went through his SEPA out in Ohio on the East Coast. So he just got that. And
Excellent.
out of everybody here at BXP, he got it. There's a few of us. So yeah, no, I've been learning a lot just by his introductions to you and on these calls. I think it's my second time on this call. Um,
Great.
and I would also like uh, like Miles, I would benefit from seeing that PowerPoint as well. I think part of it is just the transition of getting started. You're absolutely right. It is a third leg. It is a third arm. It is a third business, and the clients is very specific on this one. And I've had a hard time transitioning to it since my intent was all along, all year, was to do commercial brokering on a very specific market, and then it's like we have a different market now, right? So it's that. I think for me, it's been very helpful is reading the Walk Into Destiny, attending the EPI meetups here in Seattle, um, and really those there, right? Just consuming it and just trying to structure the business around it so that I'm prepared to do a bit more. But all of my business have really come through referrals, and I've only
Uh-huh.
had a few referrals, and it's knowing when to stop working on a client when you know it's not going to go any further, but you're empathetic with the business owner who wants to retire, who has an issue in the family. I think that's the hard part, at least for me. For some of us, it might be for me, and I have too much of that, and I don't know when to stop and pursue other deals. Right? Can you talk a little bit about
Yeah.
that, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that is a hard thing. So I remember when I first got into business brokerage and I wanted to help everybody, right? That's my nature. And I think that that is, when your nature is service and to be of service to people, it's really hard to say no. But the bottom line is, and what you learn over time is that some businesses are not saleable simply because the business owner always operated the business as a personal piggy bank and they never ran it as a business. And so, for example, and life, I mean, lifestyle businesses, some lifestyle businesses are perfectly saleable, but there are a lot of lifestyle businesses that just aren't because the business owner has all the knowledge in their head. They never documented anything. They didn't delegate anything. They control everything. They generate all the business, all the, you know, is in terms of business development, all the leads, all the referrals, and whatever, it all comes through them. And so they can't leave the business. And one of the things I learned was to ask a business owner, like, if you went off the grid for 3 months, went to Europe or went to, some remote island actually, where there was no cell service, no computers, anything else. Um, After 3 months, would you have a business to come back to? And so the answer that they give you, most of the time, for a lot of the smaller businesses, they'll tell you right off the bat, it's like, no, there's no way. If I left, I wouldn't have a business to come back to. Well, that tells you right there that the odds of, that their business is going to be very difficult to sell potentially, and or it's just not going to have the value that they think it's going to have. Because one thing you have to do with business owners is educate them that the more irrelevant they are to the business, the higher the value is going to be.
Gotcha.
And business owners, they don't think about owner centricity as being a problem. But when you have a business that's super owner centric, when the owner leaves, much of the business leaves with them. And so what you're looking at is transferable value. What we are selling is cash flow, yes, but it's also transferable value. And when all of the processes and procedures, all of the relationships, all of that are dependent on the business owner, then ultimately they walk out the door with the owner.
Mm. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of education we have to do with business owners. And that being said, if you ask a business owner, hey, when's the last time you went away, 2 week, 3 week vacation, or if you went off the grid for 3 months, would you have a business to come back to? If the answer, if they say, yeah, absolutely, business runs fine, then great. If they don't, then there are things that you can do, should you choose to, that, and should the business owner choose to, that can help reposition that business to make it more saleable. And that goes with what Alan was doing, getting his EPI and all that. When you get into that exit planning arena, a lot of what you're doing is looking for strategies in order to help the business owner to start identifying and delegating and documenting, what they do. When you can get a business owner who's working 50 hours, 60 hours a week down to where they're working 10 hours a week, that business is very saleable.
Right. Yeah, I encapsulate walking in destiny sort of by those 4 pain points, right? The human, the customer, the structure, and the social footprint. And I've explained it that way to business owners. And I figured out that the structure will usually seal the deal. If they don't have the structure set in place, they can't step away for whether you call it 3-month vacation off the grid to St. Martin, or you call it whatever. You can tell, quite frankly. I was working with a bakery, and it was the same deal up here in Washington, and she was very interested, but the financials weren't there. It wasn't profitable, wasn't paying themselves, the owner. And then it came down to, well, let's do an SBA 7A loan or something where your employees buy you out instead of a $1 million buyout because you're not there. And it was just trying to pull the employees together. Just wasn't there, and that's how it took a little while to get out of it. But right now, I've been focused mostly on getting all my data into one place so I can stay organized, structure it, whether I have their paperwork in place, the sky slope, whatever. So that's kind of where I've been at, in getting all that in order.
Yeah, and I think that in terms of documentation, using a data room is actually really important when you're marketing a business, because once you've set up the data room, it makes it very easy for potential buyers. You have a prospective buyer, depending on the situation with the seller and how much information you want to provide up front, you send them the SIM or whatever, the CDR, if they want to pursue further. At some point, they're going to want their attorney, their CPA, to be reviewing documents as well. And so when they're in a data room, all you have to do is get the name and email address of their attorney and their CPA and add them onto that data room. And you're done. You don't have to worry about trying to email documents here, there, and everywhere. If you have multiple buyers that are interested in a business, they can all have access to the same information. So data rooms are very, very useful. They also keep an audit trail of everybody who has viewed or downloaded a document. The one thing I will tell you is, because in business, we're always dealing with tax returns, you need to have Adobe Acrobat full version or another utility that allows you to redact the social security numbers. Do not put tax returns in a data room or email them or anywhere else that have social security numbers in them, tax ID numbers, because we all know that there's issues with identity theft. And so if the tax returns have the social security numbers in them, which they do so your 1120 is a corporate tax return. It's going to have the business owner's social security number on, I think it's a Schedule E or SE or something like that. But, there's a couple of different schedules on there. Also, an 1120S will have it on the K1. An LLC will have it on the K1s. If there's more than, if you have multiple members, you're going to have multiple K1s, and each one of those is going to have the numbers plus their social security numbers. So, just make sure that you redact those